Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to The Steelers Show. I'm Chris Carter, NFL analyst, here with Dale Lolley, NFL beat writer, and we are talking all things Steelers in what has been a huge week, Dale, in NFL free agency. But before we get into that, we have to talk about our friends, Dale, at mybookie.ag. MyBookie.ag is your number one online sports betting source. You can bet any sport going on right now. You got some March Madness closing out very soon in the Sweet 16 round coming up. You got baseball season right around the corner. Hockey's entering the playoffs. Lots of action. Go to MyBookie.ag today. Mobile website, desktop, laptop, you name it, they got it. And don't forget, they got the promo code DK Radio to get you a 50% bonus on your deposit. MyBookie.ag, you play, you win, you get paid. Now, there's some guys this week who got paid, Dale, in free agency from the Steelers, of all people. We thought they never made moves in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, they don't typically jump in with both feet, but they certainly did this week. And, I think you kind of saw this happening. They filled two positions of need, one at inside linebacker with John Bostic, the other one at free safety, or safety in particular, with Morgan Burnett, and we'll see whether they use him as the free or the strong. But certainly two much-needed positions, and I think if you look at the Steelers as constructed right now, with still the draft to go, they're a better team now than they were in January.
Now, I hear that. I mean, you look at right now, I mean, you think about the Steelers without Shazier, and you see those problems. They had to go get a player like Sean Spence to start for them. And now with Bostic, if Spence were even brought back to the team, he would be the third or fourth option in that system. And Bostic is a guy that he shows the ability to be able to backpedal, get deep into the secondary and help against the pass, but he's really good against the run, and I think that was the primary concern of getting an inside linebacker like him.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the signing of Burnett, you could say a lot of the same things. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy who is going to help a much surer tackler than Mike Mitchell, and you could say the same thing about Bostic with Ryan Shazier or Sean Spence or whoever was at that inside spot. I think they wanted to upgrade their run defense. I think they did that for sure. Mm-hmm. Now it's a matter of allowing the pass rush to help out the pass defense.
Right.
And a lot of the issues last year arose, especially against the run, about guys worrying about giving up, biting too hard on play action fakes, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Well, I think if you trust the guys around you to make the plays, that doesn't happen quite as much. You don't see guys biting as hard on some of those play action fakes.
Right, and that's something that coaches talk about a lot is a player having faith in their teammates to be able to just do their jobs and not necessarily try to overextend themselves. And after the Bears loss, I talked to Ryan Shazier, and he was like, that was, and that was essentially what he explained as one of their problems was they were trying to overcompensate for each other, thinking that one person was going to fail at a spot, so let me go help them. And in doing that, you vacate what your job is. So I think that's a big deal. And if you get guys that are better at what their job, they can shore up more gaps and they can help stop the run, then, and this is a classic concept of football, but when you win 1st and 10 to make it 2nd and 8, and when you win 2nd and 8 to make it, 3rd and 7, then you're in a situation where, it's most likely they're not going to come out with you to power run or a draw. They're going to try and throw the ball, and you can pin your ears back a little bit and come after the quarterback and not worry about the draws and the screens hurting you as much.
Yeah, the one thing in particular I wanted to mention about Bostic in particular is that while he's not a flashy player and he's not the sideline speed guy that Ryan Shazier is, the one thing he is gap assignment. He's sound in that respect. And what you don't see when you watch him a lot on tape is he doesn't take a lot of missteps.
No.
He doesn't particularly change directions real well.
He doesn't.
But he doesn't have to because he doesn't take those missteps, those false steps that really put you in a position where you have to change directions quickly.
And that's something you normally see out of a downhill linebacker, the way that he plays, is that sometimes they'll over-pursue and they'll go over their gap. And yeah, when you see John Bostic try to cut back when he's been fooled, it doesn't look good. It makes you think, oh, boy, that's a problem. But you're right. I studied his tape. I watched several games from last year and a couple years ago, before his season-ending injury. And the stuff that I've seen of John Bostic is pretty consistent. He knows where he's supposed to be for the most part. He seems to be able to understand that, but he also does a really good job of not over overplaying that role and putting himself in a position where he has to double back and fix those steps. But also, I think along with his footwork and we're talking about his speed, the use of his hands. I really like the way that he engages when a fullback or a tight end or even a lineman sometimes gets on him. He's able to keep that separation, make sure he has the space. And the Steelers thought he had 9 tackles against them when the Colts played the Steelers. Though the Steelers beat the Colts, he was all over the place. He even had a tackle for 9 yards of a loss on Martavis Bryant on a reverse. I think this guy, like you said, he's a sure tackler. He's going to be good against the run in those tight situations, and maybe you'll see a few less of those, 5, 6 to 8 yard runs that Leonard Fournette started to peel off in that playoff game.
Yeah, I agree completely. And as I said before, I think when you start looking at it, the Steelers are a better team now than they were in January in the playoffs, and they still have the draft with which to fill some other needs and holes and improve their depth.
And we'll be right back after these messages talking just about that very draft.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit MyBookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
And we're back here on the Steelers Show on DK Sports Radio. Before we get into our draft talk and updated draft talk of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we want to remind you that this Steelers coverage is brought to you, as always, by Henny Jewelers. Henny Jewelers, your jewelers on Walnut Street in Shadyside. Henny Jewelers, your jewelers for life. And, of course, we're talking about the Steelers draft concerns. Now, Dale, of course, everyone is talking about, you and I have both talked a lot about the Steelers needed to make the concerns of safety and inside linebackers their primary looks in this draft. Now, the picking of John Bostic and Morgan Burnett out of free agency, it doesn't necessarily eliminate those positions, but it does kind of ease the pressure of you don't need to make a pick in the very first round and expect that guy to just be an instant starter.
Yeah, it gives them flexibility, and that's the key thing that they like to have going into every draft. They don't like to have to go into a draft saying, okay, we have to address this position or we have to address that position. These were their two biggest needs, and they filled their two biggest needs. If they lined up tomorrow to play whoever, they would have two legitimate starters at those positions.
Yep.
And so, anybody that you draft now, there's no need to put them, immediately insert them into the lineup. Now, we've seen them do that in recent years, and that's been because those guys have deserved to play. We've seen Pouncey inserted into the lineup early. We've seen Shazier inserted into the lineup early. So they've done that more often in recent years. It's not the same old Steelers as 10 years ago, where if you were a rookie,
you waited a year or two.
Yeah, you waited and sat and bided your time until the starting spot opened up. So if the rookies now are in the starting lineup, though, for this group coming in this year, it'll be because they've earned it.
Right.
And so I think that's a much healthier way to approach things, as opposed to if you remember when they had Jarvis Jones, and they kind of force-fed him into the starting lineup. This is a situation now where they don't have to do that.
You're right. They don't have to do that. And part of the reason you look at that is because that they've been building with youth over the past few years. You got players like Stephon Tuitt, players like Artie Burns, Sean Davis, T.J. Watt, Bud Dupree. These are all guys in their mid to early 20s that are starting for the Steelers right now and making a serious impact. Even young guys like Mike Hilton they've thrown into the mix. So I think, Dale, you're absolutely right that they don't have to, but they also have shown the Steelers they're not afraid to anymore. That was something, like you said, didn't happen, and now it seems like, hey, if these guys are fast enough, we'll put a T.J. Watt in over at James Harrison.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it depends on the player themselves. Are they mature enough to handle it? The ability of the players, and I think if you're taking them in the first round, you would hope that they have playmaking ability, and also the people around them. And I think if you look at the people around them right now, as things stand for the Steelers, again, I think they're a better team now than they were in January.
I mean, I think that's certainly the way to look at it with where they are in January. But again, back to the draft. Let's talk about some actual players that they could look at with this late first round pick. You guys have heard me on this show talk about that Roquan Smith and Tremaine Edmonds, they're going to be flown off the board, top 10, at the latest top 15. But let's talk about some guys that the Steelers could actually get an inside linebacker who could challenge Williams or Bostic as one of the starters. I've already previewed Rashaan Evans in Carter's Classroom. We got Leighton Vander Esch. We'll be previewing him at the end of this week. But who are some guys on your board? Talk about those guys if you like them, or some other guys that you think will be around there, or even that they should wait on and take in the second round.
I think Darius Leonard from South Carolina State, the same school that they got Javon Hargrave out of,
HBCUs,
is a guy that could help them out, and I think he'd be around in our second or third round. I think if you look at Shaq Griffin. I think you can get him a little bit later because of the one-hand situation, the issue that he has physically. But I think if you look at him also physically in terms of what he can do,
in a 4.36,
coverage and everything else that he can do for you and be a special teams demon. I think that's a guy that you look at maybe later rounds as a coverage kind of linebacker and kind of a in the box kind of safety almost because of the way he is able to do things there. I like Sky Moore. There's some guys. Josie Jewell is a guy that you look at from Iowa, and Iowa or Indiana.
Yeah, no, Iowa. He's Iowa. Yeah, you're right.
And I mean, this draft, there are a lot of guys at inside linebacker in this draft. There's some guys at outside linebacker in this draft, the Dorian O'Donnells and guys like that, who played outside linebacker in college, but will shift to inside linebacker if they came to the Steelers.
Right.
They're going to be running. They're going to be running hit guys.
Right.
Or maybe they play, in the nickel or dime in passing situations as in the box, but they give you the ability to kind of mix things up. Are they going to be every down guys? Not necessarily, but I don't think it's you play so much nickel and dime now, 70 to 75% of the time, that having guys who are capable of being on the field in that package is almost more important
than having the every down 3-4 style of linebackers
or a nose tackle.
Right, or nose tackle.
People keep saying, well, why don't they draft a run stuffing nose tackle or sign a run stuffing nose tackle? No,
those just aren't in need as much anymore. And it's nice to have those if you could, but at the same time, I mean, most of the Steelers formations now defensively have Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt playing as your inside linemen because they're the defensive ends, and then they put their outside linebackers effectively as ends.
And where do you get those guys who can also rush the passer and play defensive tackle position?
By all means, where?
You're getting them in like the top 15 picks.
Exactly.
You're not getting you're not getting him at pick 28 or 29 or 30.
I mean, like people are talking about like even the players that are like potentially those first two down guys. Like Vita Vea is the one from Washington that everyone's talking about. You know, you look at his tape, the guy's a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism, but you question his ability to consistently to rush the passer. And, if you take him in the top 15, like a lot of people are talking, is he a guy that you have to pull off on third down? A Fletcher Cox, that's the kind of D tackle that you want. But also, that's not necessarily the guy that fits the Steelers' scheme per se, because, again, they have their two interior guys. I think if they get a guy that's going to be a defensive tackle, they're going to get a big guy that's going to be able to plug the middle, but in the later rounds. And we all know they don't have a fourth round. They have the first to the third, then they have the fifth. So the fifth round is maybe
two fifth-round picks.
Two fifth round, that's right. Yeah. But maybe that's where you see them take a stab at the position, or if there's a guy floating in the third that they like. But I just think that they have too much opportunity right now to address, one, the linebacker, two, the safety, and also you still got to look at, do you want to upgrade at your backup at tailback, maybe a quarterback that like we've been talking about.
And they always take a receiver.
And they can always take a receiver, and there are quite a few in this draft that you're like, they're worth those mid-round investments. So there you have it. Thanks for listening to the Steelers Show, everybody. Dale, always good working with you, buddy.
Absolutely.
We'll be back next week talking more Steelers stuff. If there's more signings, we'll find out. Who knows? The Steelers have made some surprises already. But stay tuned to DK Sports Radio. We got a lot of great coverage coming up over the next few weeks as the Pirates get ready for opening day and the Penguins make their playoffs push. From Chris Carter and Dale Lolley, thanks for listening to the Steelers Show.